The prince whom God chose to be his servant. Moses was a shepherd who watched over his father-in-law's herd of sheep. He lived in Midian and had a wife and children of his own, but as a child he grew up in Egypt. Even though he was born a Hebrew, he had been raised by a daughter of the Egyptian king Pharaoh. She had saved him when her father had commanded that all Hebrew baby boys were to be killed. Now here he was, the grandson of the Pharaoh, a shepherd far away in Midian. While Moses was growing up in the palace, living the life of a prince, his people, the Israelites, were slaves to the Egyptians. One day, when Moses saw an Egyptian beating a Hebrew, he became so angry that he killed the Egyptian. He buried the man in the sand to hide what he had done. When Pharaoh heard about it, he tried to kill Moses, but Moses got away and fled to Midian. It was here that he started working as a shepherd and met Zipporah, who became his wife. One day, Moses saw a bush on fire and went to look. From inside the bush, a voice called, "Moses, Moses, I am the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob." Moses hid his face, afraid to look at God. "Go to Pharaoh in Egypt and tell him to let my people go," God said. "I'm not good at speaking," Moses said. "Can you find someone else? Your brother Aaron can speak for you," God replied. "He is on his way now to meet you." Aaron and Moses then went to Pharaoh to make him release all his slaves. Moses and Aaron warned Pharaoh that if he didn't let the Hebrew slaves go, God would turn all water in Egypt into blood. But Pharaoh said, "No." God sent more plagues: frogs, bugs, flies, sick animals, sores, hail, locusts, and darkness. Each time, Pharaoh still refused. Finally, God sent a plague that killed all firstborn sons of every Egyptian family. Pharaoh's son died too. Pharaoh then realized that God was too powerful for him. "Leave," he shouted. "Take everything and go." The Israelites then gathered everything they owned as quickly as possible and started out on their escape from Egypt. For so many years, they had been slaves, and now God was finally saving them. But too soon, Pharaoh changed his mind. He commanded his army to chase after the Israelites to force them back into slavery again. Now the Israelites were trapped in a valley, with the Red Sea in front of them and the Egyptian army behind them. God told Moses, "Reach out your staff over the sea." God parted the waters, and the Israelites walked through the sea on completely dry land. When they reached the other side, God let the sea fall back in place. The Egyptian army got caught in the waters and was gone. That day, God delivered his people out of the hands of the Egyptians forever. The end.